Hello everyone, welcome to Achievers IS classes. Let's begin our discussion on the current events of 22nd June 2018. The first issue in news is an editorial regarding the various incidents of mob lynching across the country. Recently, two men in Uttar Pradesh were lynched based on rumors that cow smuggling was taking place. While this may be a case of cow vigilantism, there were other incidents of violence in states like Tamil Nadu and Assam in the northeast, where men and women have been lynched based on suspicion that they were trying to kidnap children. In many of these cases, including the ones in Tamil Nadu and Assam, such public concern was created or heightened by warnings that were circulated on social media. Irrespective of whether these lynchings were carried out due to the fear of kidnappings or were deliberate acts of cow vigilantism, the authorities should not treat the crime of murder and mob violence as the same because mob violence takes an extraordinary toll on the civilities of the wider society, and therefore the police must make it clear that murder and mob violence will be dealt with strictly. Also, the administration should address the new challenge of the use of social media, especially platforms like WhatsApp groups which spread fear and panic. In this regard, responses such as surveillance and internet shutdowns are not only impossible but are also inadvisable in a free society. Therefore, what is needed is the administration should reach out to the local communities in order to check troublemakers and to instill good faith among the individuals in order to uphold peace. On that note, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the recent notification of the Coal India Limited for the e-auction of coal linkages for non-regulated sectors such as cement, iron, aluminium, etc. The auction, which is to be conducted by the MSTC Limited, is aimed at putting in place a transparent mechanism to enable the end users in securing coal linkages irrespective of the size of the industry or their geographical location through a market-based mechanism. The move follows the decision taken by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs to set up a transparent mechanism for the allocation of coal to different sectors. The next issue in news is regarding the global trade war due to imposition of tariffs by major economies of the world. The first shot in the spiraling trade war was fired by the US when it imposed tariffs on imports of steel and aluminium into the country, which was countered by similar imposition of tariffs on American goods by China and the European Union. India is the latest to join this battle, which has notified higher tariffs on several items imported from the US, including agricultural products such as apples, almonds, walnuts, etc. The action follows the government's notification to the World Trade Organization last week that it was imposing tariffs in retaliation to the US duty on steel and aluminium imports from India, but it further specifies that these higher tariffs would come into effect by August 4th, thereby leaving room for further discussions between US and India. India has also indicated its preference to deal with the issue through dialogue and not through measures and countermeasures because it is a fact that all sides engaged in a trade war will eventually lose because it comes at a cost of the growth slowing down under the increasing burden of taxes, and the only gainers in the trade war will be the special interest groups such as the US steel industry, which happens to be a major vote bank for the US president. Further, the US president's rejection of the G7 communique, which endorsed a rule-based trading system, suggests that there may be no solution for the present crisis in the near future, but the global powers must try their best to bring an end to the ongoing trade war before it gets out of control. On that note, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding a United Nations report which highlights several shortcomings in meeting the Sustainable Development Goals. According to the report, the number of hungry people has risen for the first time in more than a decade, according to the latest statistics available for the year 2016. It highlights that conflict, drought, and disasters linked to climate change are among the key factors which have led to the increase in the number of hungry and malnourished people, and has further said that The increasing impact of extreme events related to climate change has resulted in economic losses to the tune of around $300 billion in 2017. Further, even though there is little country specific data to examine the performance of various regions in meeting the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, it has put forth several facts like water stress levels for many countries in the region of South Asia are above 70%, indicating a fast approaching water scarcity, and also 9 out of 10 people living in urban areas around the world are breathing polluted air, with Southern Asia scoring the worst on this parameter. It further highlights the electricity and sanitation deficits in South Asia after noting the efforts made by several stakeholders in closing the gap. Therefore, in order to achieve the 2030 agenda, it recommends immediate and accelerated action by countries to bring about profound changes that goes beyond business as usual. The next issue is regarding the high level meetings between India and Maldives in order to address the various issues which have escalated in the recent past. The bilateral relationship between the two countries has been on a downward trajectory since Maldives started moving closer to China and further deteriorated when emergency was declared in Maldives. For further details on this issue, please go back and watch my previous news analysis video. Well, you are all aware that yesterday was International Yoga Day and it was celebrated all over the world, thereby indicating India's superior culture and the potential of yoga as the soft power of our country. Well, on that positive note, I call it a wrap on today's news analysis. Do share this content if you like it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.